Let's bring in our regular Thursday panel. Former Labor Minister Stephen Conroy and former Victorian Liberal Party President Michael Kroger. Gents, great to see you both. Stephen, first to you. Ken Wyatt quit the Liberal Party over the stance taken yesterday. How will this be received more broadly?
Well, I think it just sends a message that the Liberal Party are lurching further and further in the wrong direction if they want to capture the middle ground of Australian politics, which is ultimately the goal under our voting system. Ken's taken a principled decision based on all the work he's done. Let's not forget, he was the Indigenous Affairs Minister in Cabinet. And he's uniquely placed to make a commentary of where the Liberal Party have been, where they've journeyed through and where they've ended up. And he's clearly decided that he can't live with the backtracking that Peter Dutton and the Victorian Liberal Party have come to. I mean, it just very much gives proof to Greg Mirabella's statement, the Victorian Liberal Party president, who said just 2 days ago in response to the Aston by-election, he's heard all the analysis, but the bottom line is the Liberal Party is currently unelectable.
Michael Kroger, your thoughts on where Peter Dutton landed yesterday and the subsequent reaction?
Well, Dutton did the right thing. And, obviously it's very disappointing to lose Ken Wyatt. He's a distinguished Australian. He's a great minister. He was popular in the party. But, this is the thing about the Liberal Party, that people have a right to a very strong view and express that view. Ken's decided to resign from the party. We respect that view. We've just had a backbencher on who's entitled to cross the floor and have a free vote. This is one of the things that sets us apart from Labor, where there's no free vote, no conscious vote, and abuse for anyone that tries to cross the floor. So that's just the way, the two parties operate. But, yeah, Peter Dutton did the right thing. Albo's statements that, as he said at his press conference, this is only dealing with matters which directly affect Aboriginal Australians and First Nations peoples. Well, that's untrue. That's untrue. So, of course people have sympathy. Of course they want to do more. Of course they see the shocking situations in Alice Springs, etc. But this is not the way forward. And I think Peter Dutton is absolutely right. Stephen,
what's your read on where the referendum is heading given the events of the last 24 hours?
Well, I think there was a news poll out earlier in the week which clearly showed that the Voice referendum proposal has got the support of a majority of Australians in a majority of states, and it needs what they call the supermajority. So I think 5 states were yes. So I think Peter Dutton has nailed his colours to the mast, but they're just not very pretty colours.
Michael, is there a scenario here, like off the back of the Aston result that we discussed at length, that the Liberal Party is just not in tune with where the electorate is right now?
I don't think on this issue, because I think at the minute those polls indicate people's general view of, hey, would it be appropriate for the Aboriginal community, First Nations Australians, to be listened more? And people go, yeah, of course that'd be a good idea. When people drill down into the minutiae of this, of course you can't support it. I mean, no one should have, no one race in this country should have the right to go and lobby the Governor-General at Yarralumla directly, to go to Government House directly involving the Governor-General in the affairs of the nation, asking him not to sign bills that have been passed by the 2 houses of Parliament. I mean, that's theoretically what can happen. I mean, no Australians should have that special right when 97% don't. So I think as people, learn more about it, they'll wonder why Albo couldn't just introduce this as an act of Parliament, or without the notion of executive government. Why you've had to have this, overreach early on. This could have come in as legislation to see how it worked, and then Australians can iron out all of the kinks, and it works well, and people are happy with how it's working. But no, he has to go full bore constitutional amendment, executive government in. And he's put Australians in a very awkward position. I think, as Dutz said, this is very divisive, but it's unnecessarily divisive, Kieran.
Stephen Conroy, do you believe that if you look at Aston, that there are lessons specifically to read into this debate that we're talking about now, that the first time in 100 years we've seen that happen, the general rule of thumb is that you've got to have bipartisanship to win a referendum. Are we going to see that rule broken as well?
Well, look, Peter Dutton and the Liberal Party's decision yesterday has clearly made it harder for the vote to get up. And I'm no doubt that all of those who've been committed to this change will redouble their efforts, knowing now that they don't have a willing partner. They don't have someone who's willing to reach across the aisle. So I think it will be harder. But the good news is, despite the fact that the debate has been out there for some time, those numbers remain strong. So, yes, we could see a situation where the Liberal Party utterly cast themselves into irrelevance and oppose it, and a majority of Australians in the needed number of states vote yes. And the Liberal Party at that stage will be in a death spiral for many years.
There is a lot at stake for both sides, and not just the Indigenous community, but the political leaders as well. Michael, finally to you, in the wake of Aston, do you think the Liberal Party is hearing the right messages, that the regroup, that the reset is going to land properly?
Well, it depends what the regroup, the reset is. I mean, as I said on Saturday night, I maintain the reason we're in this hole is because the Liberal Party doesn't have enough, major policies out there which convince people that better days are ahead. I mean, poor Rashina Campbell, as good as she was, had to campaign on three things. She was opposed to interest rate increases, all right. She was opposed to cost of living increases, and there should be funding to build two roads down the corridor from the office. I mean, what kind of platform is that to run in a by-election? Where's the grand narrative to convince young people and the working middle class to vote for the Liberal Party? Where are the inspiring policies? So, defeat has 1,000 people, writing us off and telling us to do this, that, and the other. No, there's one very, very significant problem. There's one major reason why she didn't win that by-election, or the party didn't win that by-election. It hasn't got any visionary policies at a federal or state level to inspire people to vote for the party, full stop, Kieran.
Takes a bit of risk on that front, doesn't it, Michael? Thank you for that. And Stephen, I'd wish you all the best for the Pies versus the Lions tonight, but my colleague Tom Connell wouldn't have it. Enjoy the break, gents.